Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayom Vishnupad Purnamahamsa Privarajakacharya Stotarasata Shimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Purnamahamsa Privarajakacharya Stotarasata Shimad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki, Jamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki, Brihat Mridanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Prasadam Distribution Ki, Harinam Sankirtana Ki, Shri Shri Gaurni Tai Ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadradeva Ki, Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadisha Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrindaki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. This is text number 68. Atmanam iha sanjatam janan prak vishnuna hatam maha asuram kalanimim yarubi sa varujata yatamiha sajantam janan prag vishnuna hatam mahasuram kalanenim yarubi savairujata atmanami hasanjatam janan prag vishnuna hatam mahasuram kalanemim yarubi savarujata. Someone else, please. Atmanami hasanjatam janan prag vishnuna hatam Menim. Shuram kalainimim. Ladies, please. Atmanam ihasam janam pragvashiram yatam Atmanami hasanjatam Atmanami hasanjatam janam prag vishnu Ata Atmanam, personally, Iha, in this world, Sanjatam, born again, Janan, understanding well, Prak, previously, before this birth, Vishnuna, by Lord Vishnu, Hatam was killed, Maha Asuram, a great demon, Kalanemim, by the name Kalanimi. Yarubi, with the members of the Yadu dynasty. Sa, he, Kamsa. Varujata, acted inimically. Translation, in his previous birth, Kamsa had been a great demon named Kalanimi and been killed by Vishnu. Upon learning this information from Narada, Kamsa became envious of everyone connected with the Yadu dynasty. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Persons who are demons, enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are called Asuras. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Asuras, because of their enmity toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead, take birth after birth in Asura families, and therefore glide down to the darkest hellish regions. Om Gyanatamirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we're in this world, and we have a mission. And that mission is to learn about the Supreme Personality of Godhead as given to us through the parampara, ivam para para praptam, imam rajarshayo vidhu, sakalene mahata, yoganasta parantapa, through the chain of the cyclic succession to Srila Prabhupada. And in this mission, of course, we are to give this Krishna consciousness to others. Now, this world that is taking up 1/4 of the creation, this material world, as we've heard many times, is a very dangerous place. But we forget. So we must remember that this is a razor's edge. At any moment we could cut ourselves. We have to be very, very careful. And along with that material consciousness, there's many negative sides to it. Now here in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about enviousness. Kamsa became envious of everyone connected with the Yadu dynasty. So enviousness, it's a horrible feeling. When we see others have something, we want that, and we become envious. And we can see that in this world, that when one is envious of a neighbor, of someone else, they work very, very hard to make that person look bad, and they work very hard to get themselves above that person. If you go into some of these really nice neighborhoods, even neighborhoods that are not very nice, but you see that people are working very hard to make themselves look better than the person next to them or across the street. They're working so hard, and they don't even like them. They don't even like the person who's living, the people that might be living around them, and they're so envious that they spend so much time trying to make themselves look better. Shrami eva kevalam. It's a useless waste of time. And we must be very careful not to become envious of others. Krishna is giving us what we need for our Krishna consciousness. Krishna is giving us what we deserve. So if we see someone else has some better qualities, encourage that, push them along, and then whatever quality we may have that is of a good quality, then we should fan that and try to become better at it. We're never going to become good at everything. So, Srila Prabhupada states here, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Asuras, because of their enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, take birth after birth in Asura families, and therefore glide down to the darkish, hellish regions. So this is very dangerous, this world we're in, and we've heard this so many times. It's a basic point. But the material world is a very dangerous, dark place. But remember, where there is Godhead, there is light. Where there is nescience, there's no Godhead. Godhead is light, nescience is darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is no nescience. And that's written across the top of the Back to Godhead magazine. So I wanted to just touch on this verse that Srila Prabhupada is making reference to in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, the divine and the demoniac natures. In this chapter, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out the divine natures and the demoniac natures. Asuram yonim apana Muda Janmini Janmini. Janmini Janmini. In birth, after birth. Mam aprapyaiva konteya tato yadscha damam gatim. Attaining repeated birth and death, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, Krishna speaking here, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is known that God is all merciful, but here we find that God is never merciful to the demoniac. It is clearly stated that the demoniac people, life after life, are put into the wombs of similar demons, and not achieving the mercy of the Supreme Lord, they go down and down, so that they achieve bodies like that of cats, dogs, and hogs. It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving the mercy of God at any stage of later life. In the Vedas also it is stated that such persons gradually sink to become dogs and hogs. It may be then argued that this connection, that God should not be advertised as all merciful if he is not merciful to such demons. In answer to this question, in the Vedanta Sutra, we find that the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of the Asuras, the demons, in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. So Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire. So if one wants to inquire into the knowledge of the Absolute, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, then Krishna will make that facility. He will make that arrangement for that person to come in contact with devotees. I remember when I was younger, about 6 years old, I actually remembered that I wasn't very happy. And I was sitting on the edge of my bed looking out the window, looking to the east at the sun rising. And I remember praying. I didn't know Krishna at the time. But I remember praying, God, if you exist, please show me who you are. And in speaking with different Vaishnavas, they've told me similar types of stories. Now, we're not to put Krishna to the test. We're not to pray to God, please give me a good grade on my test, or help me to get this job, or whatever it may be, as I would sometimes do. And actually, sometimes it worked. So I thought, there is a God. I got a good grade on the test. Or I got that job. Yes, God exists. But I remember going back when I was 6 years old, I sat on that bed and I looked across and I prayed. And not too long after that, several years later, I remember walking on Fifth Avenue and seeing a flatbed truck going by. And everyone was wearing orange. And everyone was shaved heads, very shiny. And I could hear, actually before it came in front of me, I can remember hearing the sound of cartels. And we all have heard this. You know, you get off the subway, where you go park your car in Santa Monica, and then you get out on the street, and then and as you get closer to the Harinam spot, you could hear the cartels, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. So I remember hearing those devotees coming down. Someone was chanting with a harmonium. And I remember stopping, and I was with my family, and I remember stopping and looking, and it captivated me. And I thought, wow, those people look like they're from heaven as they went by. And I remember my parents saying, come on, let's go. But I always thought to myself, I hope someday I get to meet those people. And then somehow I had that opportunity. So we have to be careful what we wish for. But these types of things, wishing for Krishna consciousness, wishing for the betterment of other people, wishing for devotional service, wishing to be a good servant, Gopi Bhartu Patakamalaya Das Dasano Das, a good servant of the servant of the servant. These are all good. And so, by doing this, we fill our cup, and all the negative stuff comes out. All the negative consciousness comes out. Just like if you have a cup or a bowl or a big can and it's full of unclean water, so that can be likened unto envy, lust, greed. But if you fill it up with nectar and you keep filling it up and you don't stop, eventually all of this dirty water will come out of the garbage can, and you'll be filled with nectar. So Krishna consciousness is like that. Krishna consciousness is the nectar. It is the nectar for which we have all been anxious. And so though we experience challenges in life, and we do experience envy, it could be someone drives a nicer car than we do, or sometimes I see some of these Prabhus, they've got some really nice watches, and my watch is still sitting up in the drawer for like a year without a battery. Or someone is wearing a nice kurta. They just came back from India and they have a nice kurta, or they have a nice sari. And then we start wishing, I wish I had that, and then we become, sometimes if we let our minds wander, we become envious of that. So if we become envious of someone, there's a nice remedy for that. Offer them some service. Something. Give them prasadam. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Tell them how much you're appreciating their service. So this lust, this anger, this greed. I was just thinking about that verse, and I looked down and realized that this is verse 21. It's right here in front of me. There are 3 gates leading to hell, or as it says here, to this hell. So that's the verse after what I just read, attaining repeated birth and death amongst the species of demoniac life. And they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Krishna tells Arjuna, there are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. And then Krishna goes on to tell Arjuna, the man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conductive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. So we have to be careful that we hold on to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and the spiritual master's instructions and the chanting of Hare Krishna. It's right there. That Hare Krishna mantra is enough in this age of Kali Yuga to become self-realized. It's very, very powerful. And if your mind's giving you difficulty, if you're facing challenges in life, just take a step back and chant better rounds. Try to focus in on those 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. And not that things will go away, the problems will go away, or the agitated mind won't finally, stop screaming, as it always does. It's always screaming. But we can push that screaming mind aside by the chanting of Hare Krishna, by absorbing us in the Maha Mantra, by absorbing ourselves in devotional service, and also the wonderful association of all these wonderful Vaishnavas here in New Dwarka, and even those Vaishnavas that are listening to class on the internet. Just imagine that at every moment the chanting of Hare Krishna is going on somewhere. Mangalarti is going on somewhere at some time. Harinam is going on in some place at some time. So even though we might be taking rest, but then somewhere in India, Harinam is going on. So just imagine that this Hare Krishna mantra is like a whirlwind, and it's going all around the world, and it can't be stopped. So even though we live in this world where again this is the 1/4 creation, which is the material world, and 3/4 of the creation is the spiritual world. In this material world, in this age of Kali Yuga, things are progressively getting worse, and there's more and more demons, asuras, being born. So even though we're small, it appears that we're small, there's not very many devotees, or I should say compared to how many non-devotees there are, we seem to be a very small group. But just think about how there's 3/4 of the creation where all this Krishna consciousness is going on. And think about what our beloved spiritual master did. At a seemingly older age, externally, he did something amazing. With so little, He gave us so much. Srila Prabhupada had no temple, or no temples were created, or there was no temples at the time. And Srila Prabhupada came over to the United States with seemingly nothing. Didn't even know anyone, just one person, couple of people. And he was depending on Krishna. So he had Krishna on his side. And so even though we may appear to be very small, we can do so much because Krishna is doing everything. Look at all the books that are going out. The Lakshmi that's being collected and engaged in Krishna's service. So, we have a golden opportunity to go back to Godhead, to get out of the demoniac world where we're not affected by the three modes of nature. How many times during the day do we stop what we're doing and count our blessings? How many times during the day do we just, stop and just say, I'm going to take 5 minutes to stop what I'm doing and just think about how fortunate we are to have what we have. And take the time to go up to each individual Prabhu and tell them what wonderful service they're doing and how much you appreciate their wonderful example, and encourage them in what they're doing. You'll see how Krishna will reciprocate with you. So, even though there's so many demons, asuras in this world, Lord Chaitanya has brought this Krishna consciousness movement. And though we shouldn't preach to the faithless, if someone is offensive, we shouldn't preach to them, because it's just like giving milk to the serpent. But for the most part, a lot of people are, they're innocent. They're looking for something. So if you go to give someone Krishna consciousness and they seem receptive, give them a book. Give them Krishna consciousness. Tell them where they can come see Krishna. And if you go to speak to someone and they're arrogant and they're not interested in Krishna consciousness, and they're showing enmity towards Krishna, then don't spend your time trying to convince them. Maybe they get prasadam, or at least, hear the holy name. I remember my brother, he was not favorable to Krishna consciousness. And I used to use a little trickery on him just to get him to say Krishna. I said to him, this is just an example of how hearing the holy name and taking prasadam makes one more favorable. I said to him, can you say Krishna? And he said, no, I can't. I won't. And I said, you won't what? And he says, I can't say Krishna. So we have to be a little clever on how we give Krishna consciousness to others. Even if they're arrogant, even if they're, not into Krishna consciousness, even if they're not favorable, we could be clever. You can use a little trickery, and Krishna will give you that intelligence. And then gradually, my brother, he would ask me questions. Oh, so how's the Krishnas, And I remember I gave him a book, and I brought it to his house, and I put it on his bookshelf, and he didn't even know Narayan was sitting on the shelf. Then he found it. He goes, "Did you leave this book, this Krishna book here?" It was a Bhagavad Gita, but he said he called it a Krishna book. I said, "Yes." He said, sometimes I get off the phone with you and I'm thinking about Krishna." Because he thinks about what I do. And then he came to New York Rath Yatra one year, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was sitting there with the devotees, chanting Hare Krishna. And then he said to me after the Rath Yatra, he goes, this Hare Krishna, this is good stuff. So I'm just trying to illustrate how, from someone that wasn't attracted to Krishna consciousness, not that he was a demon, but someone that had no interest in Krishna consciousness, gradually became more favorable. And my mom, she was not happy that I was a devotee, and I hadn't actually spoken to her for some time. But now she tells people, and I was there when she told someone, said, my Krishna son here, he didn't turn out to be such a bad person after all. So there's hope, and this is our job, is to at least tell people about Krishna. Let them hear Krishna's name. And I'd like to encourage everyone, at least, just, if you don't get an opportunity to go out and do Sankirtan, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I was thinking about this morning, and then I thought, wow, what about if everyone on the internet here, there's probably, say 100 people, all of a sudden, now 100 people are texting me or writing in because of this proposal, but I'll give it a try. I think that some of the reasons why we don't distribute a book is, we feel kind of like we have to get money for it, and we do. We should pay for the book. So if somebody here will say for the next, 7 days till next, till next Friday, next Friday in the evening, if someone here, other than the devotees that go on Sankirtan, would like to distribute some books, I'll buy them some books. And you don't have to, if you're afraid to ask for Lakshmi, then so be it. But I'd rather see the book go out. So just, if you're at the supermarket, you can, we all here, we're all gregarious people, we all talk. You could say something, are you interested in self-realization? Are you interested in yoga? Or just, I would like to give you this gift. Would you take this gift and read this book, please? And let them take the book. And then you come and tell me what you distributed, and I'll pay for the book. And then I also want you to put your name on the sheet, so when Savas Prabhu reads the Sankirtan scores in the morning, that your name is also mentioned. All right, are there any comments or questions? Yes. Savas Prabhu says, if everyone surrenders, we'll distribute a lot of books. And we'll have a lot of Lakshmi. Oh, I will. Hey, like you probably all heard me say, take it easy, okay? Just take it easy. All right, Prabhu, so we can stop here. And thank you very much for coming to class and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. And thank you for listening on the internet. I hope you all have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Jaya. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu.